Have you ever observed that when you get older, you start visiting folks less often? Maybe you used to be the kind of person who did the rounds, stopping by to see pals, attending every event, making sure to keep socially active, but over time something shifts. You start thinking twice before walking out, and even casual visits don't feel as necessary as they once did. And here's the reality: that's entirely okay in this. Today, we're going to speak about 6 actual reasons why I don't go going around anymore. These aren't about becoming antisocial or keeping others out. Instead, they're about understanding how priorities change, how relationships evolve, and why selecting when and where to spend your time matters more than ever. If you've ever felt the same way but couldn't fully explain why, stick around. This will help you put it into words. Stay tuned to the finish, because these factors might simply transform the way you see yourself and your connections, helping you feel more confident in the decisions you make. Let's get started. Number 1, prioritizing energy. For meaningful relationships, when you get older, you start to notice that your energy is not unlimited. The things that once felt simple, going across town, spending hours in talk, attending every gathering, now take more out of you than they used to. It's not that you don't desire to see people, but rather that you have to be judicious about how you use your time and energy. You start to think, who are the folks that genuinely matter? When you're younger, socializing often centered around remaining connected, keeping up with acquaintances, and retaining a wide circle of friends. But as the years go by, something moves. You learn to value quality over quantity. It's no longer about seeing everyone. You'd rather spend time with the individuals. They uplift you, making you feel comfortable and bring real delight into your life. Casual visits that used to feel necessary now seem like a drain on your scarce energy, especially when you could be using that time to nurture relationships that genuinely matter. Ponder about it. How many times have you forced yourself to go somewhere out of responsibility only to come home feeling weary? You sit through talks that don't actually interest you, spend time with folks who don't make an attempt to know you, and leave feeling like you would have been happier staying home. There comes a moment where you recognize that your time is valuable, because not everyone deserves a piece of it. Take Frank, for example. He used to feel bad about turning down invitations. He thought that if he didn't go visit people regularly, they would think he didn't care. But with time, he noticed the folks who actually valued him didn't need regular visits to establish a strong relationship. Instead of concentrating his attention on surface-level interactions, he started focused on deeper, more meaningful relationships, and suddenly socializing felt less like an obligation and more like a true joy. It's not about isolating yourself, it's about choosing intelligently. You don't need to be everywhere, and you don't need to see everyone to prove that you care. Real connections don't require constant presence. They require genuine appreciation, comprehension, and a mutual respect for each other's time. Number 2, avoiding unneeded stress and drama. One of the key lessons you learn as you get older is that not every social interaction is worth your peace of mind. There was a time when you might have tolerated gossip, unnecessary conflicts, or persons who seem to bring more negativity than joy. Yet as the years go by, you start to see that safeguarding your peace is more essential than preserving every relationship. It's not that you don't care about people, it's that you don't have the patience for drama anymore. You don't feel the need to quarrel over little things, rehash old conflicts, or entertain conversations that leave you feeling frustrated. If visiting someone involves dealing with unneeded stress, whether it's familial tension, passive hostile statements, or the same old arguments that never go anywhere, you start to question yourself. Why am I putting myself through this? Think regarding it. Have you ever left a gathering feeling emotionally drained? Maybe you sat at a dinner where folks whined the whole time, or you visited someone out of responsibility only to listen to negativity, slander, or criticism. There comes a moment where you know that time spent in stressful circumstances is a moment you'll never get back, and at this stage of life, every minute Important, for example, take Helen, who used to visit certain family members routinely. Even while every visit left her feeling emotionally tired, there was always tension in the air, always an argument waiting to happen, always something that made her feel like she wasn't being appreciated. One day, she decided she wasn't going to keep putting herself in those instances. Instead, she concentrated on the ones that made her feel cherished, welcomed and valued. And for the first in years, socializing felt pleasurable again. The truth is, you have every right to protect your time and energy. You don't owe anyone your presence, especially if that presence comes at the cost of your own pleasure. Deciding to avoid unneeded tension isn't being rude, it's being wise, since the people who actually care about you won't make you feel forced to bear hatred just to sustain a relationship. If you continue viewing this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you subscribe and switch on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue providing good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, finding comfort in familiar places. There's something about home that just feels appropriate. Over the years, you establish a location that's yours, a place where you may relax, ponder, and truly be yourself. And as you get older, that comfort becomes more crucial than ever. The concept of getting dressed, driving across town, making small talk, and sitting in someone else's space merely doesn't feel as enticing as it previously did. It's not about avoiding people, it's about enjoying the peace of your own surroundings. When you're younger, there's a drive to always be on the go, always hunting out social activities and new encounters. But after time, you realize that being out isn't always better. Then coming home, there's a certain type of delight in waking up in your own bed, drinking coffee from your favorite mug, and knowing that your day will go perfectly as you want it to. There's no pressure to entertain, no need required to adjust to someone else's schedule, merely the comfort of being in a space that feels truly yours. For someone, visiting folks indicates dealing with environments that don't feel welcoming. Maybe their house is too noisy, too chaotic, or just not pleasant for long trips. Maybe the chairs aren't as supportive, the atmosphere feels unfamiliar, or you don't feel as at ease like you do in your own home. The truth is, as you mature, your comfort counts more than social expectations. And if you find more satisfaction in staying home than in traveling to visit others, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Take Bill, for example. He used to feel sorry about declining away invitations, yet every time he visited someone, he discovered himself counting the minutes till he could leave the noise, the distractions, the strange atmosphere. It was exhausting. One day, he decided to quit forcing on himself to go somewhere only because he felt he had to. Instead, he started inviting visitors to see him on his own terms, and suddenly socializing became something he genuinely looked forward to instead of something he dreaded. There's a reason why home feels like home, since it's a space designed for you. It's where you feel protected, where your favorite things are, where you can travel at your own pace without worrying about being a guest in someone else's space. Deciding to spend more time at home isn't about seclusion. It's about enjoying the comfort you've worked so hard to develop. Now let's chat about something that comes naturally as you get older, recognizing that not every relationship needs constant care. Number 4, favoring quality over quantity in social life. When you're youth, socializing often feels like a numbers game. The more buddies you have, the more invitations you get, the busier or calendar seems, the more linked you feel. However, as you age, you learn to know that real fulfillment doesn't derive from the quantity of persons in your life, but from the depth of the relationships you maintain, instead of making the effort to visit only for the sake of networking. Many senior folks opt to invest in fewer but more meaningful friendships at this moment in life. There's no need for shallow friendships. You're no longer striving to impress, prove anything, or sustain connections that don't bring genuine joy. The ones who are actually significant don't demand continuous visits or regular check-ins to keep close. There's a shared awareness that friendship isn't about physical presence. It's about being there in the ways that genuinely issue. Think about how many casual acquaintances you've had over the years. Persons you spent time with out of habitual convenience or even obligation. Now ask yourself how many of those people genuinely brought something important to your life. If the answer is not many, then it makes sense that as you grow older, you stop feeling the urge to maintain so many ties. The friendships that last aren't the ones based on convenience or habit, but on sincere understanding, trust, and appreciation. Take Nancy, for example. She used to feel that she had to keep up with everyone, phoning, visiting, making plans only to make sure she wasn't forgotten. However, with time, she learned that the individuals that actually cared about her didn't need that regular reinforcement. She started focusing on the relationships that felt effortless, the ones where she could go weeks or months without seeing someone yet still pick up right where they left off. And suddenly, her social life became less about responsibility and more about true connection. Choosing quality above quantity doesn't mean shutting others off or isolating yourself. It involves prioritizing the connections that uplift you and letting go of theonies that don't. It's about recognizing that real friendship isn't measured by how often you see someone, but by how you feel while you're together. If you'll continue viewing this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I commend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue developing good articles to enlighten and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. A shift in priorities and personal contemplation. As you get older, you start to perceive life differently. The things that once seemed vital, keeping socially active, being scene making, ensuring you're constantly part of the gang, start to wane in prominence. Instead, you begin to focus on what truly matters. You know that your time is restricted and you start making choices that reflect what offers you the greatest tranquility, satisfaction, and happiness. For many seniors, this shift of emphasis implies that visiting others solely for the sake of it no longer feels essential. Instead of wasting time on tasks that no longer bring joy, there's a deeper admiration for self-care, personal progress, in simply enjoying the present. When some people find fulfillment in reading, others in hobbies they never had time for before, and others in simply sitting in the solitude of their home thinking on the life they've lived. Think about it. How many moments have you spent doing things out of habit rather than real interest? When you were younger, you might have felt pressure to say yes to every offer, stay up with societal expectations, and always be on the go. But now you have the freedom to choose differently. You can prioritize the things that bring you joy, whether that involves spending time alone, being with loved ones, or simply embracing the calm that comes with aging. Take Robert, for example. He spent most of his life being a social butterfly, always attending gatherings, always making sure he was present. Yet as he became older, he recognized that he felt more peace in isolation than in constant social interaction. He started to spend more time outdoors, enjoying simple walks, reading novels he had put off for years, and reflecting on the things that truly make him happy instead of pushing himself to see folks only to maintain appearances. He embraced the premise that being alone didn't mean being lonely, it meant being in control of his time. This adjustment in priorities isn't about pushing people away, it's about honoring yourself. It's about realizing that the greatest method to live these years isn't by following old behaviors, but by embracing what feels right, what feels meaningful, and what provides you peace. Now let's discuss about something just as vital. Why real friendships don't need regular visits to keep strong. Number 6, recognizing that genuine friendships don't require regular visits. One of the major realizations that comes with maturity is that the finest friendships don't rely on frequent visits or regular check-ins. When you're younger, it could appear like partnerships need constant maintenance to keep strong. You call often, you visit frequently, you go out of your way to maintain up. However, as you get older, you realize, because true connections don't dissolve just since you see someone less. Often their reality is life naturally pulls people in different directions. Families grow, priorities evolve, and individuals settle into varied routines, but strong relationships, the ones that genuinely matter, are predicated on something deeper than physical presence. They're built on mutual regard, understanding, and an silent link that doesn't need constant reinforcement. Some of the nearest friendships are the ones where you can go weeks, months, or even years without seeing each other, and yet when do reconnect, it feels like no time has passed at all. Think about your own friendships. There are definitely persons in your life who you don't see as often as you used to, yet when you do, it's as if nothing has changed. You don't need to prove your allegiance or continually be in each other's presence. The connection is already there, and on the other hand, there may have been relationships in the past where you spend a lot of time visiting, yet deep down those bonds didn't truly gratify you. Take Elena, for example. She used to feel awful about not visiting folks as much as she used because she concerned that if she didn't put in the effort, those ties would fading. But what she found was the reverse. The ones who actually cared about her never once made her feel guilty for not visiting more regularly. They understood that life changes and that a strong friendship isn't about how often you see each other, but about how you show up for our other when it truly matters. This is why so many elderly folks choose to discontinue the force to visit others out of duty. Genuine friendships don't demand steady presence. They bring comfort, understanding, and the kind of bond that doesn't deteriorate with time. If someone makes you feel guilty for not visiting enough, maybe it's time to ask yourself if that's really the kind of friendship you want to retain. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I commend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue developing good articles to enlighten and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Final thoughts as we conclude out this video. Take a moment to ponder on the 6 reasons why visiting folks less often isn't anything to feel sorry about. Life, as priorities shift and the way we socialize naturally evolves. Whether it's saving your energy for meaningful interactions, avoiding needless stress, relishing the warmth of home focus, emphasizing quality above quantity and partnerships, redefining your personal priorities, or recognizing that true friendships don't demand constant visits. These are all valid and crucial reasons to select how you spend your time wisely. One of the greatest freedoms that comes with aging is the ability to live life on your own terms. You no longer feel pushed to stay up appearances, force encounters, or visit people just because it's expected. Instead, you make choices based on what actually brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment. That's not being antisocial, it's being intentional with your time. Even when you do spend time with individuals, it's because you actually want to, not because you feel obligated to. The most crucial thing to remember is that your worth isn't determined by how often you visit individuals, but by the bonds you cultivate in your own way. The people who genuinely important will understand that friendship and love transcend beyond physical presence. And as you focus on their relationships that boost you, you'll find that you're left with the relationships that genuinely make life meaningful. Thanks you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Post a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your remarks offers us fantastic encouragement. If you appreciated this video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue generating good content to enlighten and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Music.